Justice Minister Kiri Allan has quit all her portfolios this morning. Has been confirmed by the Prime Minister, Chris Hipkins, and it follows a car crash that happened last night, 9 p.m, and she's been charged with reckless driving and resisting arrest. Jenna Lynch, our political editor, joins us now. What more can you tell us, Jenna?
Yeah, so as we said earlier, a couple of statements have come through, one from the Prime Minister, one from Kiri Allan herself. The Prime Minister saying that, yes, indeed, it was Kiri Allan that had that car crash in Evans Bay last night, and he'd spoken to her this morning telling her he thought her position was untenable. The aggravating factor in this, obviously, is that Kiri Allan was Justice Minister. You cannot have a Justice Minister charged with a criminal offence. She was also Associate Transport Minister. Again, you can't have an Associate Transport Minister in that situation. So Kiri Allan has resigned all of her portfolio. She has headed back to the Bay to reconsider her political future. And now Chris Hipkins has the task of, again, reallocating portfolios within his cabinet. Last time he did so, he said he didn't think it was smart to bring anyone else into the cabinet this close to an election, trying to bring another minister on board, but it does raise questions about that ever-dwindling cabinet and whether he does need to bring someone else in. He needs to reallocate justice, which is a massive portfolio. You would think that he would want to reallocate that to someone who has some experience in the area, perhaps an Andrew Little, but he is absolutely stacked with portfolios given all of the other ministerial resignations. So Chris Hipkins has basically a game of chess in front of him today, trying to figure out how he's going to reassemble that cabinet and convince voters that they can have confidence in this government as it loses ministers by the week.
Jenna, one of the big questions here is the health of Kiri Allan. Do we know how she is? I mean, we've heard from the Prime Minister that, she's got well-documented personal issues and those allegations against her, as a minister and the way she treated some staff. And then the press release, a statement from the Prime Minister that came out today, said that she was in extreme emotional distress. The personal issues came to a head and she's not in a fit state to hold a ministerial warrant. How is she? Have you been in touch with her?
We haven't heard from Kiri Allan other than the official statement that she provided. I assume she's not feeling super great this morning, but she said in her statement that, yes, over the last week she has faced personal difficulties. She took time off to address those. She thought she was okay to juggle that and what is a very stressful job being a minister, but clearly she says she was not okay and she's let herself and her colleagues down. It should be noted again that mental health is very much a spectrum, and it's hard to know, whether people are okay one day and they're not okay the next, and the only real person that can judge that is the person themselves. So, yes, there will probably be some questions for the Prime Minister as to whether it was the right call to let Kiri Allan come back to work last week, whether she'd taken enough time off to deal with some of the personal issues that she was having, whether her mental health was in a good enough state for her to be back at work in that stressful job, and whether those sort of compounding factors that were going on as well. It wasn't just the stuff that was going on in her personal life. She was in the headlines for all of the wrong reasons, which can only kind of exacerbate things if you're under pressure. So probably questions for the Prime Minister about whether it was the right call to have Kiri Allan back last week. Having said that, she did speak to us last week and she seemed in pretty good spirits. She made that blockbuster announcement around youth crime last week, and her announcement was definitely the winner of the 3 last week. So, as much as her position was untenable, it was untenable for her to stay on as a minister. I'm sure everyone is also wishing her well dealing with those mental health issues.